Hi all, welcome to my channel BK World TV. Today we will be continuing the build the U.S.S. Enterprise D series by DeAgostini Japan. This is Pack 20, stages 75 through 78. So welcome back to the channel everyone. We will be continuing on the build the U.S.S. Enterprise D series for Pack 20, stages 75 through 78 from DeAgostini Japan. So as you can see, we get the magazine for Pack 20 and all the parts for the stages. So let's first take a look at the contents of the magazine as usual, and then we'll get started on the build. So here we have the magazine, the nice sauce section on display on the front cover there. But anyways, we'll go ahead and flip over to the content here. It's in the back. Skip over the build steps. So in the first page here, this is for Cupid. That's season 4, episode 20. This is where Q, I think, brings them over into the entire bridge crew to like a little holiday scene, themed scene here. Very fun episode. And then I think also Vash probably comes into play at some point, if I recall correctly. And then the episode 21 is the Drumhead. This was a very interesting episode. It turns into like a kind of a witch hunt, but very definitely like the writing of the script as well as the entire episode. Very interesting. And then episode 22 is Half a Life. And then I think this is the first time Michelle Forbes stars in the series, and then I think according to here, this little kind of a script or text here on the picture, they brought back her for Ensign Row in the rest of the series in season 5. And then episode 23 is The Host, and then basically says here the Trillium makes their Star Trek debut. And then episode 24 is The Mind's Eye. Then we got some concept drawings of the phaser rifle. And then episode 25 is In Theory. And then I think this is the episode that Patrick Stewart directs, which is interesting. And then episode 26 is Redemption. And then we got a model of the Vorcha class attack cruiser here, a little miniature for filming. Yeah, that's the contents, quick review of the contents of the magazine. So now let's go ahead and get started on the build for Pack 20. In stage 75, we will be working on one of the deck panels for the saucer section. This I think will be for the outer edge part of the deck panel. And then we will also be working or at least includes the part for the drive section as well, but I think we won't be using this part at least in stage 75. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we will be working on this metal deck panel here. We'll be installing all the escape pod hatches onto this panel. So we'll go ahead and get the hatches installed and then be right back. So as you can see, we now have the escape pod hatches installed. So next what we'll be doing is we'll be installing the reflector panel here, which is this little black piece, and that's going to hold the hatches in place. And then we'll be securing that with 2 AM screws. So let's screw it in just like that. So now we got that. Now that we have the reflector panel secured, next we will be installing the outer edge panel here, which is this piece here, and that basically is going to fit just like that. And then it's going to also fit into the 2 little pins down at the bottom there. And then we will be securing that into place with 2 IM screws. So let's screw it in. So as you can see, we now have the deck panel all assembled with the edge panel there installed. So next we'll be attaching this onto the saucer section. So let's bring over the saucer section. So we'll be attaching this deck panel right in this section right here. So basically let's get this fitted in. So just like that, we got it fit in, and then we'll be securing the deck panel into place with 2 FM screws. So let's get the panel secured. And then now that we have the panel all screwed in, we will be placing the little screw cap, just the escape hatch here, to cover it up, and then it'll just click into place. And then that is it for stage 75, basically a easy stage here. So we'll move on to stage 76. In stage 76, we will be assembling or attaching another piece of the skeletal frame for the lower portion of the saucer section onto the rest of the saucer section as well, and installing the lighting for it. So let's get started. So first off, in this stage, we will be opening up this lighting cable here, separating it out a little bit, and then moving the wiring so that it's basically 90 degrees to the light, similar to what we've done, I think, recently for the lighting for the lower part of the saucer section. So basically, we'll do it just like that, and then we'll do the same thing onto the other lighting cable as well. And then this will be attached to the skeletal frame. That's why we need to bend this one out, just like that. Then next we'll be bringing over the skeletal frame right here, and then we will attach the lighting cable. So for this lighting cable, it's gonna slide right underneath this part here and come right through, and then basically it's gonna, the light is gonna line up right here, just like that. A little bit hard to see. We'll go ahead and zoom in for you guys. So the light's gonna go sit right there, and then we're gonna secure that with a one of the brackets, I guess you can call it. And then we're gonna secure the bracket into place with 1 AM screw. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in, just like that. And then next we'll be installing the other lighting cable right on here. So as you can see, we now have the second lighting installed right there with the little clip attached. And then basically next we'll be attaching this entire skeletal frame onto the saucer section, or the rest of the saucer section. So let's get that installed. So basically we will be attaching the skeletal frame for this stage onto the saucer section right here. So just need to make sure that everything is secured. So basically it'll be installed just like that. You may need to lift up the little bit of the skeletal frame on the other side because the this corner piece here needs to fit underneath the other the skeletal frame that's next to it in order to get the get it secured in. But once that is done, we will be securing that into place with 8 BM screws first. So let's go ahead and get the BM screws screwed in. And next we will be installing 4 FM screws, which will be in the second row from the outer edge here. So let's screw that in. And then for the last screw, we'll be installing 1 AM screw onto this little screw hole that's at the edge there, just like that. And then we'll be moving this little lighting cable here and then tucking that right underneath the skeletal frame for this one. Basically just a little bit right there, and then we will be connecting the lighting now for it, for the two lighting cables. Then we'll be connecting that onto the PCB board in these two slots right there. So let's go ahead and get that connected, just like that. And then we are done with the solder section for this stage. So we'll set that aside. And then we'll be getting the battle section panel here that we got in the previous stage. And then basically we will be installing the little window panel here. It's gonna go right along the edge there, just like that. As you can see, we have the window panel installed. And then that is it for stage 76. In stage 77, we will be assembling another deck panel piece here, and then also working on the battle section panel, or the window that we installed at the last step in the previous stage. So let's get started. So as you can see, we have the metal deck panel here. So first thing, we'll need to install the escape pod hatches again for this deck panel. So we'll go ahead and get the hatches installed and then be right back. So now that we have the escape pod hatches installed, next we'll be installing the brackets for those hatches to get them secured. So there's 4 pieces of brackets will be installed just like that for each section. And then we'll be securing that into place with a total of 7 AM screws. So let's go ahead and get that screwed in. So as you can see, we now have the brackets installed for the hatches. So next, what we'll be doing is we'll be installing the phaser array onto the deck panel here. It's gonna so it's gonna be placed right along the edge there, and we're gonna secure the phaser array with 3 CP screws. So let's get that screwed in. So as you can see, we now have the phaser array installed. So next we'll be installing 2 pieces of the window there, one clear and one blackened window. So let's go ahead and get our little window pieces cut out here. So now that we got the windows installed, we'll be installing the reflector panel, which is this little piece right there. Then we'll be securing that into place with 1 AM screw. So let's screw it in. So just like that, and then we are done with this deck panel. So we'll go ahead and set this one aside, and then bring over the battle section panel here with the window panel that we installed previously. And then basically we'll be installing the lighting and the reflector panel for it now. So go ahead and get the lighting cable separated here. Then basically the red and black lighting cable is going to be on top, and then the green and yellow will be fitted to the other end of the reflector panel there, just like that. And then we'll be securing the reflector panel into place with a total of 5 BP screws. So let's screw it in. So as you can see, we now have the reflector panel screwed in. So that is it for stage 77. In stage 78, we will be assembling the window panels onto the section of the drive section, or the battle section, continuing on from the previous stage. And also creating another deck panel and attaching a couple of the deck panels from this deck panel from this stage and one from the previous stage onto the saucer section. So let's get started. So first off, we'll be bringing in the battle section piece here, and then we'll be attaching this window piece onto the other side, and just like that there. So look, just like that, and then we'll set this piece aside. And then next, we will be installing the windows onto this deck panel piece right here. So we'll go ahead and get the windows installed and then be right back. So as you can see, we now have the windows installed. So next what we'll be doing is we'll be installing the reflector panel here, which will be this reflector panel. There's two, so the larger one is going to go onto the left side, right here. It should sit just like that, right there. And then we'll be also getting the lighting cable. So in this pack, there's three lighting cables, but one of them has the yellow, black, and blue, red pair. So we'll be getting this lighting cable. And then the red and blue light wire is going to go on the right side. And the yellow and black is going to go on the left side. So get that light seated in, just like that. Then we'll be securing the reflector panel into place with 4 BP screws, so let's screw it in. So as you can see, we have the reflector panel on the left side installed. So next we'll be installing the reflector panel on the right side. So basically this panel is going to sit just like that. Then we'll be getting the lighting cable here, which is the red, black, white, yellow combination. And then the red and black wire is going to go on the left side, so towards the center. Just like that. And the yellow, white cable is going to go on the outside there. Just like that. And then we will again secure the reflector panel with 4 BP screws, so let's screw it in. So now that we got the both of the reflector panel installed, next we will be bending the lighting cable here 90 degrees to the top there for each one. So I'll go ahead and do that. And we'll bend it nice and slowly so it won't break anything. Just like that. And then next we will be installing the deck panels as well as one more of the lighting cable onto the saucer section. So let's bring over the saucer section now. So as you can see, we have the saucer section here. So first we will be feeding this lighting cable through. The red and black wiring is going to go through and come out from the next side right here. So it's going to be just like that. And then next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this deck panel here, that we just created in the earlier. They'll be feeding the lighting cable through. So basically, the lighting cable should be pointing downwards towards the edge of the saucer section, and then we'll be feeding the lighting right through here. So this lighting cable is going to connect to this PCB board right here. There should be one more slot that is open, just like that. And then next we'll be feeding in the other lighting cable. That's going to go right through here. And then next what we're going to do is we are going to install the other deck panel piece here that we created in the previous stage. Then we're going to connect those pieces together, just like that. And then we're going to also connect the lighting cable for it together as well. So we're going to get the red and black lighting cable that we installed in this stage and connect that onto the left side there. We'll slowly turn this over. Then we'll need to get this seated and screwed in onto the saucer section here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we will secure this into place with 3 FM screws. So let's go ahead and screw it in. So as you can see, we have the deck panel installed and screwed in right here. Now, if in my case, this little plastic piece, the edge wasn't evenly cut, so I had to scrape it off a little bit in order to get a tight fit onto the deck panels next to it. So it may depend on your case too, whether you need to do a little bit of tweaking or to get a tight fit as close as possible to the other deck panels. But now that is done, we'll go ahead and test the lighting for it. So we'll shut off our studio lights right here, and then we will go ahead and activate the lights. As you can see, the lights are working as well on all the sections here. So we'll go ahead and turn our lights back on. So basically that is it for stage 78 and for pack 20. So in pack 20 we started on this little battle section panel here. We installed the window and reflector on one side with lighting, and then the window on the other side. So I guess we'll finish this in a later pack. And then we also install a skeletal frame on this side here on the underside of the sausage section. And then also install the deck paneling right here, and then also install the edge panel right here. So far it is looking really nice. Can't wait to see what we have in store for the next pack. But I hope you are enjoying the video series on Build the U.S.S. Enterprise D. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.